I'm watching the video. As most of you know, I put out a TikTok video every morning. It's primarily focused on video, and I've been talking about its ups and downs, this, that, and the other. And Friday, I talked about this reorganization of debt and this massive quarterly or this option expiration this quarter that is pretty sizable. And we're seeing a lot of this market starting to sell off. And NVIDIA is my focus because honestly, that's pretty much all that I'm invest trading in. I buy options, calls, and puts, and lately I've been buying a lot of puts. Cashed out of the March 28th 115 puts today. Had a great gain in it, right around 65 or so percent. Matter of bought it on Friday, held it through the weekend, which I really typically don't like doing because it's nerve-wracking. You don't know what's going to happen. And today I cashed out before lunch. I had great profits. I made money, paid the electric bill, paid a couple other utilities for holding something for 24 hours, roughly trading hours. Now I'm watching NVIDIA continue the sell off into the market close. It's 1:55 Central Time Monday, and I'm starting to see the selling ramping back up again. And I think one of the things I wanted to share with you that I think is important is having a process. And it has taken me an enormous amount of time over time to figure out what my process is and what works for me and what works for my personality, this, that, and the other. And I see a lot of people and they track like all these stocks, maybe like 10, 15, 20, 30, 40, 60, 100, whatever. And they're tracking and they're looking for all these and they have their fundamental thesis and they're looking for these they're just tracking an enormous amount. And my personality doesn't have that ability to track that enormous amount because of my just mental makeup. I'm a very much a I get obsessive compulsive. I can focus on one thing and I can lose hours, if not days, by hyper focusing. Seeing that as my advantage, I've decided like NVIDIA is that one company, big market capitalization, very liquid and very volatile. Today, what are we at here? See if I can tell you. So that's a 10-minute. So today's volatility in NVIDIA, or right now it's down 7.54%. Holy cow, that is an enormous amount. As you can see here on this chart here, we have just been selling NVIDIA since February 18th. Actually, if you just go back to its peak around November 21st, it just has declined and moved south. And so I look at this and I go, this is what I need. This is what I want. And I think as investors, it's better to focus on one thing and become really good at it if you have the time and honestly, if you have the interest of becoming good at this, to figure out what product or what company or what asset within that company can make you really good and just hyper focusing on that. NVIDIA is my choice. And so because it has a big market capitalization, it's very liquid, and the options against it are very liquid the majority of the time. And I've over time started to notice how this is behaving and how this is working. And so one of the things I wanted to share with you, because I put out the 12, which is 12 of the largest market capitalized assets between equities and crypto. And what it's seven of the top highest market capitalized stocks, and will change as companies lose market capitalization or gain market capitalization. And then the crypto side of it is basically five of the largest crypto assets out there. And I use this simple process of, well, I use basic things. For instance, I use a 15 period moving average, in this case, daily. That's this white line here. Why 15 days? Because the Wall Street looks at things in chunks of 4 weeks and 3 months. And so what I want to do is sort of front run Wall Street to an extent. I learned that through a company that I subscribe to and how to think about that. And so I use a 15 period moving average daily, and I use a 62-week or 62-day moving average because that is 1/4 of the 252 trading days of the year. Now, that can change a little bit with crypto, but that's what I use in general. And then I use a quantitative formula that is based on price movement, volatility, and I look at volume as well. Wow, NVIDIA is just selling off right now. This is crazy. Um, should have maybe I should have held on to my puts, but I'm glad I didn't because I made money, and that's what the whole idea of this is. So when I created the 12, I wanted to make it strictly unemotional, numbers driven, mathematically driven, and back it up with a simple, is the stock above its intermediate trend line, which is the 62-day period, or is it below it? If it's above it, then I'm all in. I will buy the stock, I'll buy the calls, whatever I do, the stock is moving higher. We saw that for the last 2 years with the Mag 7 and the S&P. Now NVIDIA is below, as you can see here, this 62-week period by a lot. Right now it's 134.30 is our intermediate trend line. We're now trading at 114.67. So that's my immediate decision of am I long that position or am I short that position? The 15 gives me a leading indicator where the stock is. So if it is above the intermediate and it's above the what I call trade line, so the short-term period trade line, then it's very bullish. And my quantitative numbers, which I calculate every night, or they automatically calculate, and it gives me a low range and a high range. And so, like for instance, today, my low range was $111 on the low end of NVIDIA and 130 on the top end. Well, as you can see, I most likely am not going to hit the top end, but I'm seeing a lower low at, well, it's at 114.58 right now. If I get to if it gets to a 111, that'll become very interesting. So what those tell me is that one, if it's below the intermediate trend line, it's headed south until it gains or until it breaks above it. I'm bearish on that position. If it is below the 15, chances are if it's below the intermediate trend, it is below the trade line as well. So I'm considering that. I look at my ranges, so it gives me an idea how low, in this case, NVIDIA could go today. It's not exact, it's not, exact science. It gives me a volatility range for which the stock will trade within the day. And so I apply that to the 12. I apply it really to everything now because it's a system, it's a process. And I think that is the essential part of this is that you have a system and process. For me, I like trading NVIDIA because it's large, very liquid, and very volatile at times. And I can make money doing that. I'm looking at the world in 3-month periods of time or 62-day trading days of the year. That's the way I look at it. So when I built the 12, I wanted to give people the ability to invest and have a better idea because this is all about money flow and where the money flows, that's where the stock things will go. And that's where the stocks will go. Well, what are we seeing right now? We're seeing money flow out of, in this case, NVIDIA and the Mag 7 and the S&P and equities, and it's going to bonds, U.S. Treasury bonds. And so you're seeing a restoring of confidence in U.S. backed assets. but also a flight to safety. And so we're seeing it come out of equities and we're seeing it go into bonds. So how do you play this? Well, with your process, you can play it both sides of the fence. I don't think you should be, I don't want to limit myself to being a one directional investor. I want to take advantage of this thing they call the market and be able to make money with it and be able to provide for my family and create wealth and be able to do fun things. This is merely a platform. Wall Street, the markets is merely a platform for which I can go create wealth. And I don't want to limit myself in going one way or another. I like options because of the high leverage, because of the movement, the quickness, and honestly, the complexity of it. I've been burnt way too many times to even talk about. And I've learned and learned and learned and have come to this very simple approach of follow my process, follow the where the money is going. And when you have profits, keep them. Simple as that. Don't lose money. If I'm down, I have a certain level that I'm okay with. I'm down. If I'm in my element, if I'm in the process, if it meets my process and I'm negative, like for instance, I came in to pre-market today, Monday, the 3rd of March, and I was negative by about 15%. But I knew based on my process and what my calculations were telling me, there was a higher probability that I was going to see a pullback in NVIDIA, a continuation of that pullback. And guess what? It worked. But I stuck with my process. And I stick with my process because it works until it doesn't. And when it doesn't work, I step back, clear the table, sit back off, and ask, why didn't it work? What's breaking down? And I go and I analyze it. I believe to become great at anything, that's what you have to do. You have to, one, be in love with it, be excited about it, wake up every morning and just be jacked about, I'm going to be able to go do this today. That's why I see this and be able to go, you know what? I'm wrong. I screwed up. I'm out. I don't know what's wrong. What am I doing? And being able to have the humility to say, I need to fix this. I need to step back and redesign or fix what I'm doing. And I think that's what makes a good investor. I'm out for the long term. I plan to do this for a long time. I'm a long-term investor with a focus on making money no matter what the period of time is. And I think that's what we all should be focused on. So check out the 12. It's $10 a month. I do a write-up every morning on it. I do some video content on TikTok and talk a little bit about the 12, but also what's happening in the market. Go check that out. It's Best of US Investors, I think _6 for some reason on TikTok. But check out in the description, learn more about the 12. It's $10 a month. You're going to learn something. And as I wrote today, I expect 3 to 6 more months of downward movement in the equity markets because of what is happening in with this new administration and what they're trying to do to reorganize our government, make it more profitable and more efficient. And they're blatantly saying it's going to hurt for a while. So I'm going to take advantage of that hurt and make money doing it and protect my assets. So check out the 12, hit the description, go down in the description, check out the link, and it'll take you to our Best of US website. If you like this video, hit the like button. If you have questions or anything like that, please leave them in the comments. I will check them out. And have a great day. And always, 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 always live loud. See ya.